friends. I might look a little different. I'm a little blonde. Just a little. I think I might have made a mistake to start a load of laundry in the washer. Hopefully you guys don't hear that. Hey friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden, and welcome to the first official video. Actually, it's not the first official video, because the last video that I filmed was 10 games, or I think it was actually 12 games that I could see potentially getting into my top 100, but we have made it to the top 100 now. Oh, the laundry has started again. All right, so I've already started my laundry, so I don't think there's much that I can do now, and we need to get filming this video. So please ignore any weird noises in the background. It's just my washing machine. But yes, we are getting started with my top 100 games of all time. The only time that I've done this in the past was back in, I think it was 2022. I did a top 20 along with Francis. We did 2 videos. I will link those down in the description box and possibly up here if I remember, if you guys want to go and check that out, if you want to see what was in my top 20 before. But I'm going to be doing this in 10 different videos. So I think a lot of content creators do this where they divvy up into top 10s through 10 different videos, making up their top 100. So without further ado, we're going to get right into this video. I'm going to be chatting about my numbers 100 to 91, and honestly, I'm so excited to film this series because I just love talking about board games. This is something that I've said before. I could just go on and on about all of the board games that I enjoy, and being able to sit down with you guys and show you my favorite games of all time. I just think this is going to be so much fun. So I have my coffee, I got my blonde hair, and we are ready to get into the first official video in my top 100 games of all time. So if you guys want to see my numbers 100 through 91, then just keep on watching. Give this video a big thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden, and I'm sure you do want to get notified when I upload more of these. Like I said, I will be uploading 10 of them, and I think I'm going to try to upload 2 a week. So this is going to span 5 weeks. So if you're not part of the Board Game Garden yet, I'd appreciate it. We'd love to have you here. And without further ado, let's get into this video, shall we? All right, so getting into the first game that has just made it into my top 100. This is a roll and write. And I believe this is a roll and write that you can get here in North America, but it's pretty difficult to find because I believe the publisher is a Japanese publisher. But that game is Walk and Roll. So Walk and Roll is, I'm gonna move my coffee out of the way. I love you, coffee, but don't be in the way of my favorite games. So Walk and Roll is a roll and write. I also do have the expansion, which is the Korean Wave expansion. And these games are roll and writes, like I said. It's a little bit of like a Yahtzee style roll and write game where you're going to have some dice with a bunch of different food items on them, and you're going to be able to roll them up to 3 times like you would in Yahtzee. You can keep some of them, you can re-roll some of them up to 3 times, and once you have your final roll, you're going to be able to fill in different things on a menu. So basically you're like creating these dishes. There's going to be like rice and noodles and vegetables and meat and a bunch of things like that. And this game's very comforting to me. I love a good roll and write. This is actually one that I've only played solo, fun fact. So yeah, I don't know how it plays multiplayer. I'm pretty sure there's like one active player that rolls the dice, and then everyone else only has access to the certain colors of dice, because there's like white ones and then there's also red ones. But yeah, I just love this game so much. The art in it is absolutely adorable. All of the different icons on the food dice and all of the different like dishes that are cooked, specifically the Korean Wave expansion. The illustrations of all of the Korean dishes are so cute, and Korean is one of my favorite cuisines, so it's really cool to see tteokbokki and bibimbap and all of those things in a board game. I think it's very cute. So yeah, that is why Walk and Roll is my number 100. If you love roll and writes and you love that Yahtzee style and doing some combos, there's not like a ton. There are two different versions in the base game. There is the simplified version and then there's the advanced version. In the simplified version, there's a little bit of chaining, but there's not too many like crazy chain things. But in the advanced version, there is more that you can do. And it's very, very fun if you like those like more crunchy roll and writes, but not to the extent of like Hadrian's Wall and Twilight Inscription and stuff like that. The advanced side is really, really good for kind of a middle ground between the two. But the standard side is just like very comforting to me. And I'm really, really excited to hop into the Korean Wave expansion at some point when I get a chance. But yeah, that is my number 100. That is Walk and Roll. So moving into my number 99. So this is actually a new to me game. I think it was this year that I first played this one, and I have been addicted to this game. This game is a great little puzzle. It's really, really fun. There is no solo mode, which is a little bit sad. I wish there was. I'm sure there's probably going to be some sort of fan-made solo mode, but it's very fun. It's on BGA, and that game is Far Away. So Far Away is my number 99. Like I said, I was just introduced to this one not too long ago, and it's already made its way into my top 100. It is a fantastic puzzle. If you love card games where it just makes you think in a very different way, I definitely recommend checking out Far Away. It plays 2 to 6 players, which is great. I always love games that can play up to 6 players because 6 players I feel is like what I normally play with when it comes to like family. So this one's a great one to pull out with family, and I love the way this game makes my brain feel. It is such a brain-burning game where basically you are drafting cards and you're going to be playing a card into a big line, but you're going to be going back and scoring things in the line the opposite way that you put them down. So the most recent card that you put down on the last round is actually going to be the card that you score first, and then you're going to go back from there. So throughout the game, you're trying to make sure that the order of the cards that you're placing down is going to allow you to score the most victory points. And it just, the first time you play this game, it's like, what the heck is going on? But the more that you play it, you full on grasp that strategy, and it is just such a fun game. And I never get bored of it. Like anytime that anyone asks me to play Far Away, I'm 100% down because it is such a fun game, and it's always, pretty much every single time you play it, it's going to be completely different. So that is why Far Away is my number 99, published by Pandasaurus Games. Absolutely wonderful. My number 98 is a solo only game, and if you guys do not know, if you've never seen my channel before, I love coffee related games, coffee themed games. It's actually my goal eventually to try to collect all the coffee themed games. I just love them. There's one actually big coffee game that I really want to try called Coffee Traders. I want to try Coffee Traders so bad. It looks fantastic. It looks like, you know, a big heavy Euro coffee game. It just like, oh, that just sounds perfect to me. But that is not the game that I'm talking about for my 98. My number 98 is Coffee Roaster. So like I said, this is a solo only game all about making the perfect cup of coffee. And basically it is a like bag building game where you are crafting the best bag of chips. You're going to be playing over a bunch of different, I think it's like roasting rounds. And you're kind of throughout these roasting rounds, you're going to be able to play as many, for the most part, roasting rounds as you want. And you can stop at any point and decide to move into the brew round, where you're pretty much, you know, taking things out of that bag that you've built up in order to try to get the perfect cup of coffee. There are a bunch of different kind of scenarios or cards that you can go by that gives you different things to set up for, different things that start in your bag, and kind of the different end game things that you're going for. So I really enjoy that. You can do like light roast coffees, medium roast, dark roast. And it's just such a fun game. And again, you guys will see this throughout my entire top 100, but I really love, when it comes to solo games, I've discovered recently that I really look for a comforting game in a solo game. I do also, you know, every once in a while like to take out a big Euro game to play solo, but for the most part, what I am getting to the table time and time again are these types of games where it's just easy to get to the table. I really enjoy the gameplay. It makes my brain work, but not too much, and it's just very satisfying and just calming and relaxing. So that is why Coffee Roaster is my number 97. Was it my number 97 or 90? It might be number 98. It is my number 98. I'm already getting confused, and this is going to happen quite often in this top 100. You guys will probably get annoyed with me the amount of times that I get confused with number we're on. But anyways, that is why Coffee Roaster is my number 98. It is a wonderful solo-only game if you are able to get your hands on it. It is published by Stronghold Games, and that is Coffee Roaster. So moving into my number 97. So number 97 and 96 are some heavier games, but this one here is actually one that I got pretty early on, or Francis and I got pretty early on in our like board gaming journey, and we haven't played this one in a really long time, and I love this game. I do think that this would be higher if we had played it more recently. We've been trying to get it to the table, but it is a pretty big game, and it is a deduction game. Penny has joined us down here. But it is a deduction game. I love deduction games, and this is such a fantastic one. That game is Alchemists. So Alchemist is my number 97. It is such an interesting game and a very unique game to anything else that I've played, solely because you are using a cell phone with this game, or a, like, you know, mobile device of some sort, an app, because you're going to be mixing different ingredients, and depending on the ingredients that you mix, you're going to get different outcomes with different potions, whether that is like a plus sign or a negative sign or a neutral sign. And you are, it's like I said, it's been a while since I've played this, but I know that I love this game. It is worker placement, so you're going to be placing out workers, you're going to be gaining ingredients, testing ingredients. You are at like a magic school, I believe, so you're eventually going to be doing some exams and then showing off these different potions that you have created. And it's so unique and so cool. And again, I feel like I need to play this one again. We've been trying to, like I said, Francis and I, we've been trying to get this one back to the table because this is one that Francis likes as well. So yeah, Alchemist, published by CGE or Czech Games Edition. Absolutely wonderful, and that is why it is my number 97. All right, so number 96 is a game that I think I was introduced to earlier this year as well. I was graciously sent a copy of this, a deluxe copy of this, and this was probably one of my most anticipated games. I love the way this game looks so much. I think this might be my favorite game when it comes to the look and the like aesthetic of a game. This game is absolutely stunning, and on top of that, I really enjoy the gameplay as well, and the theme of this game is like one of my favorite themes, but that is Septima. So this is from Mind Clash Games, and this is, or I think it might be Septima. I still honestly don't know how to pronounce it, but this is a really cool game, and I think it does a lot of really interesting things. It is like a simultaneous action selection where everyone has the same cards in their hand, and each turn you're going to be, or each round you're going to be picking one of the cards to perform an action on the board. You're going to have your witch and your covens. You're going to have a bunch of different witches, and each of those witches are also going to give you some sort of like special ability, and you are going to be going out collecting ingredients for potions. You're going to be brewing those potions, giving those potions to some injured and sick townsfolk in order to heal them, and then you're going to be going up tracks, gaining different benefits and things like that. And the really cool thing about the simultaneous action selection is everyone's going to pick a card, and you are wanting to, for the most part, try to match up with people. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do, because you're all witches and you kind of want to sync up with someone else. And if you do end up syncing with someone else, you are going to be able to have like a more stronger action. So I think that's very cool, but you do then get more suspicion, which you have a suspicion track, and the higher you are on there, the more suspicious the town is of you, and you might have something bad happen to you. So really enjoy that. I love the act of going out and getting the ingredients and brewing potions and creating those potions and then healing people in the town. I think it's just so much fun. And there's also some like additional things that you can add to the game that I've always added because I really enjoy. There's like another kind of track that you can go up, and there are like different cards that you can get to give you more abilities and just make it an even bigger game than it already is. Minecraft Games makes a lot of great games. I think I mentioned a few in my like games that I think could potentially go into my top 100. So I think I mentioned Tricarion, and what other one did I mention? Anachrony. I don't think I mentioned Anachrony in that video, but Anachrony is also very good. And just, they've made some great games. So yeah, Septima is definitely not as heavy, I don't think, as some of their other games, but it definitely is a pretty chunky experience, which I absolutely love. So yes, that is why Septima or Septima is my number 96. All right, so now moving into my number 95. So this is definitely a lighter game, and it is a very nostalgic game to me. This was one of my first polyomino games that I played and I was introduced to. Francis and I got this one pretty early on in our board game journey as well, and that game is Baron Park. I love Baron Park, and like I said, it's very just like nostalgic. I know this game like the back of my hand, and we can just take it out and play it. I do wish that there was, I'm sure there's like a fan-made solo mode, but I would love to be able to play this one more. Honestly, with like all of the new games coming in and all of the games that I have to play for content, a lot of the times these kind of games that I've just had in the collection for a really long time, I don't get to play them as often as I would love to. So yeah, Baron Park is definitely one that I would love to play more. I can play it on BGA actually. So if you guys ever want to play a good game of Baron Park with me, I would love to play. Just add me on there. I think I'm just Jenna Beasley on BGA, so be sure to add me if you want. We can play some games. I'm constantly on BGA, so I'm down to play. But yeah, Baron Park is just wonderful. It is a polyomino game where you're placing tiles, and then depending on the icons that you cover up with your tiles, that allows you to draft more tiles that you're going to be playing on your next turn. You're just going to be continuing this, and you are trying to fill your zoo. And as you're filling up your zoo, you're going to be getting victory points for filling up the different sections of your zoo and for the different tiles that you're putting into your zoo. It is wonderful. There's also a like Bad News Bears expansion that I think I was chatting to someone about recently, and they said it was really good. So I might end up trying to get the expansion for this, but again, I just never have time to play games. So a lot of the times I often don't go for expansions because I'm like not going to be able to get to them. So anyways, Baron Park, absolutely wonderful. That is why it is my number 95. Okay, so we are on to number 94, which I am not 100% sure if this game was in my top 20. I think it might have been, possibly, or it might have been in Francis's top 20, but this game was definitely a lot higher before, and I don't know. It's something about the theme of this game. I really enjoy the gameplay of this one, but just the theme of this one just does not grasp me, so it has dropped quite a bit. It is a fantastic game, but yeah, that game is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. So this one, I think the reason why I love the gameplay of this one so much is because it does have a lot of simultaneous player actions, or like, you know, simultaneous play in general. It does play solo. I think I played it solo once, but I also recently played the Terraforming Mars dice game solo, and I think I prefer the dice game over this one for solo play specifically. But if I was playing multiplayer, I do think that I would always reach for Ares Expedition. But this game is absolutely fantastic. The only thing that, you know, puts it lower down for me is because it is space themed, and space themed games just don't do anything for me. But the gameplay of this one is amazing. You are building up a tableau. There's a lot of like engine building and trying to get specific resources in order to buy these cards and chaining these different cards and gaining different points in different ways, like getting oxygen and raising the temperature. And basically all together you are trying to raise the oxygen to a particular spot and then raise the temperature to a particular spot. Then you're also needing to flip over these ocean tiles as well. Then once that has happened, whoever has the most victory points is the winner. So it is a wonderful game. I've said this in the past, but I've never played the base game of Terraforming Mars, so I might want to play that one in the future. But again, you know, it just doesn't call my name. You know, space themed games, not really my thing. So anyways, the reason why this one is in my top 100, my number 94, is because the gameplay of it is just so much fun, and I absolutely love it. And like I said, I think this one was a lot higher for me before. I don't know if it was in my top 20, but it was definitely, you know, up there. But yeah, still in my top 100, but it definitely has dropped. That is Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition. Number 93 is another nostalgic game. I love this one. And it's really cool to look at this game right now and know that I am friends with the designer. The designer is a wonderful human. He is amazing. And I am actually in the process of working on designing a game with him, or like an expansion with him, and that's just insane to me. And I think this just hit me now, how cool that is. Wow. Anyways, I don't know why I just got so freaking emotional about that. Anyways, the game that I am talking about is Sagrada. Sagrada is such a good game, and it's a shame because Francis doesn't love Sagrada. He's not the biggest fan of drafting games, and this is primarily a drafting game where you have a pool of dice in the middle and you are doing a snake draft, drafting these dice and then placing them into these stained glass windows, and you're doing a little bit of a Sudoku puzzle of specific colors needing to be in spots and specific numbers being in spots, and then you are trying to get certain things in rows and columns for some objectives, some personal objectives, other objectives, public objectives, and things like that. And I just love any sort of like Sudoku puzzle, any game that has cool uses of dice, I love. And like I said, Daryl Andrews, my friend, is such a wonderful guy, and he made a fantastic game. And that is why it is my number 93, which is actually pretty cool because that is the year that I was born. So I guess this is a pretty like cool game to have at 93. But yeah, that is Sagrada. It is wonderful. I'm sure you guys have heard of it before. It is a wonderful game. It's great solo as well. I played it solo a ton and with a bunch of people multiplayer as well. And there are a ton of different expansions. We have every single expansion for this. I have the 5 to 6 player expansion, and then we also have the 3 like smaller expansions that add some more to it, which I need to play more of those because I think I've only played one of the 3. But yeah, that is Sagrada. That is my number 93. Moving into my number 92. So this is one, it's kind of funny because I think I mentioned earlier in this video that space games are just not for me, but we got another space game. But this one is a really cool space game, and I'm pretty sure I kind of mentioned this one already when I was talking about Walk and Roll. But that game is Twilight Inscription. So this is one that I think I discovered last year, and this is a very chunky roll and write. It's supposed to be the roll and write version of Twilight Imperium, which I've never played before. I don't think I will ever play because that game is ginormous and huge, and space, again, don't love space. But this one definitely, like, even though it is space, it is so good, and I need to play this game again. Both multiplayer, I think this game plays fantastic multiplayer. Usually with a roll and write like this, like Hadrian's Wall, I actually prefer not playing Hadrian's Wall multiplayer because I just feel like it ends up being everyone heads down at the table, not talking. Sometimes that's fun. Like Francis and I have played Hadrian's Wall together a few times where we've just like put it on the coffee table and like put on a show and kind of just casually played it together. But if you're playing it for like a board game night, everyone is just like heads down, silent for the round until everyone's finished. You do some like in between things and then your heads down again. But in this one, you still get that like crunchy feeling of Hadrian's Wall, which you guys know I love Hadrian's Wall. But you also get a little bit of player interaction where, kind of similar to like Seven Wonders, you're like battling with the people beside you. You're also doing like a voting phase, which is really cool. And I just really enjoy this one. It kind of meshes those two things together of a crunchy roll and write, but also still being a highly like interactive game. So that is Twilight Inscription. It's all about going out and discovering planets, and there are a ton of like chaining and things. There are 4 different sheets that you're like doing stuff on, and it's just so good. If you like heavy roll and writes, I definitely recommend trying this one out. You get a faction, you get like a special ability. There is public goals, private goals, all the things. I think there's private goals. There might not be private goals, but I know there are public goals. And I need to play this one again. I think actually, maybe I'll bring this. I'm doing a game day on Monday. Maybe I'll bring this on Monday. Anyways, that is my number 2. That is Twilight Inscription. And lastly, for this list, we have my number 91. So this is a game that I was more recently introduced to. I've only played this one solo, but I really want to, now that I have more of the boxes, I really want to play this multiplayer. You can play it 1 to 2 with 1 box, but if you get more than 1 box, there's like a few different boxes. I probably should just show you guys what it is. But if you get more than 1 box, you can play it up to 4 players. But that game is Kin Fire Delve. And I have now, I just recently, a few days ago, got these 2. But I was sent this by Incredible Dreams, so a huge thank you to them. And I tried it out solo. I did do a live stream of me playing this one solo. And you can play this 1 to 2 players, like I said. But if you have another box, you can play it up to 4 players. And I can see this game getting up there on my top 100. Like I said, I was just recently introduced to this one. I've played it about 4 or 5 times solo, and it is just so satisfying. And the interesting thing is, I talked about this a little bit, but with like what I prefer playing solo, I really like a calming, more like relaxing experience for solo. This one is not super relaxing because you are battling with different cards. It's a lot of like card play of like, oh, I really want to attack this thing, so I'm going to play this card. That's going to give me this, and then I'm going to roll these dice to see, you know, if I can beat that thing. If I can't beat that thing, then I go down in health, or I lose something, I go back up. Basically, you're trying to get through this like deck of cards, which is a well that you're like delving into in order to get to the bottom of the deck and then defeat a monster of some sort. Each box has a different monster that you're going against, and you're just trying to do that and be successful, which, fun fact, I have never been successful in this game. And that's the thing, is like I find it it gets like frustrating when I can't win a game, but at the same time, that makes me want to continue going back to it and getting better at it and eventually beating it. And I feel like this is a great one for that. And honestly, it doesn't make me too frustrated because I really enjoy the gameplay of it. I will mention, this might come as a surprise to some people, but this is a little bit of a spoiler. This reminds me a little bit of Final Girl, and Final Girl is not in my top 100, which I was actually quite surprised by. But at the same time, I wasn't like super surprised. I played Final Girl quite a few times. I got it was really excited to play it, and I played it a few times. It was very fun the first few times, and then I got to playing specifically the like Phantom, or like what was the one with like the ghost lady. I forget what it was called, but I got to that one and I played that one so many times and I could not beat her to save my life, and it just got very frustrating. And yeah, so I ended up not playing Final Girl for a while, and I think that's probably why it's not in my top 100, because I just like got frustrated with it. But this one kind of gives me that feel of Final Girl, but not as frustrating, and I do think I prefer the overall gameplay of this one a little bit more. But they both do have that card play and also the like dice rolls. But yeah, I really enjoy Kinfire Delve, and I can definitely see as I play this one more, and now that I have these two boxes as well, and I can mix and match the characters that I play with, or the character that I play with if I play it solo, if I play multiplayer, and then also the person that we are going against, or I'm going against, I think this one will definitely go up higher on my top 100. So that is Kinfire Delve. We have 3 different boxes. We have Vainglory's Grotto, which was the first one. You also have Scorn's Stockade, which was the second one. And then this one here, which is Kallax's Lab. I believe this one is coming out very soon, and I'm really excited to have a copy of it to check out. So that is my number 91. That is Kinfire Delve. All right, friends, so that is going to be everything for this first video in my top 100 games of all time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing all about my number 100 to 91. Let me know in the comments if any of these were a surprise to you, if you agree with these, if these would be higher on your list. Let me know. I would also, if you guys have a top 100, please leave your 100 to 91 down below. I love when people do this on other top 100s, so I think it'd be a lot of fun for me to be able to go down in the comments and read all of your lists as I do my lists. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. If you've yet to do so. There we go. We'd love to have you here in the garden, especially as I go through my top 100. I'd love to have you here to hang out and talk about all of my favorite games. All right, I love you guys so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next board game video. Bye, friends.